like for you informing DeJounte about the All-Star selection?
It was joyful.
We've talked a lot about his development as a player. What have you seen from him, developing as a person through the years?
Well, he just made strides every year in understanding what an NBA starting guard is responsible for, and he's grown in leadership abilities, his understanding of the game, and what his responsibility is in relation to his other teammates. Just a steady improvement, both skill-wise and leadership-wise. So, done a fine job, and he got rewarded, which is great.
Pop, you spent time with Darius Garland this past summer for USA Basketball. What stood out about his time with you guys, and did any of that make you think that he could have this kind of all-star season?
Oh, sure. I mean, he was very important to us. As you know, we didn't have a full complement, and at times we didn't even know who was going to be on the team. And he stepped right in and did everything we asked him to do, made it possible for us to have a practice, that sort of thing. And from day one, he gobbled it up. He enjoyed being there, and he enjoyed being with those kinds of players. That's a pretty amazing opportunity for a young guy to be able to do that, and he embraced it and gave us everything that he possibly could. So as we watched him, we realized that there's a lot of good players in this league, and I think it gave him some confidence to know that he could play on that level with those guys, and I think it's shown this year. So we're thankful for his effort, but more than that, happy for the success he's had.
Is there a skill or two that stands out about his game that has allowed him to take this leap?
Well, I wouldn't be able to speak, I wasn't with him that long. I think JB can tell you a whole lot more about that development for sure.
He said that he showed you a picture of him at one of your camps, I think, when he was like 6 years old, and he was reminiscing about that. Do you remember that?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I was back in Gary, Indiana, giving a talk for the Chamber of Commerce and a wonderful program that Chuck Hughes puts on, a basketball tournament, and that situation, you don't think that that's going to happen, that you're going to take a picture with a young kid and then this many years later there he is kicking your butt. So it was interesting to be able to see him after the game in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. He had some people there, from his family and everything, so that's when he showed me the picture. It was pretty cool.
Speaking of reminiscing, Coach Bickerstaff said too that he was at one of your camps, I think in Aspen, when like 7th or 8th grade, something like that.
Yeah.
Talking about full circle for you, and now you've got him on the sidelines coaching against him. But
yeah, it seems wherever I go, there's somebody that I know for some reason that tells me something, and we all know what it is.
I won't ask you what it is.
Thank you. You're very kind.
Hey, Craig, what does it mean to be regarded as one of the top 15 coaches in league history?
Why do you have to ask me questions like that? It's sort of bizarre. It's not something that you grew up with in the game and say, someday I'm going to do this. I've been blessed with lots of great players and coaches and staff, and I've been doing it a long time, so someone felt it appropriate to put me in that list. It's a little bit embarrassing. It's a little bit mind-boggling. It humbles you to the knees for sure, and you just don't want to pay any attention to it. It's kind of like that, the multiple choice test on the SAT, and you say which one doesn't belong. You feel like you might be one of those guys. So it's certainly an honor to be in that group with that group of people, but still sort of an out-of-body experience.
I know you guys faced the Cavs in San Antonio, like you mentioned, but when you look at the film for that game and then also coming into this game, what have you seen from Evan Mobley just so far this season and his growth as a rookie and how he's such a...
I really couldn't talk to that. I haven't watched a lot of Cleveland film or, Milwaukee film or Clipper film or anything else. I'm pretty busy with my team, to be honest.
Good, we got the All-Stars coming here next week,
Right.
along with the 75th anniversary team. I asked Evan Mobley earlier if there was anyone he was looking forward to meeting. But for those young guys that are going to be around, all those legends, what would you hope they would glean from them? What would you hope that they would ask or try to learn from those guys?
Well, I think that just the respect I think our players have for the game. If every new generation come in and understand that there's a lot of respect due to those who have come before us, and that the responsibility we have to continue to conduct ourselves in a certain way is really important for the dignity of the league. And that, I think, is a special aspect that shows its face when you have that many stars all in the same place, because they're all thrilled to be with each other. And I think all the other people who are at the games see that and feed off that and understand what an honor it is, and it makes it a great goal for everybody else to try to achieve that over time.
Is this a tough time of year in terms of the trade deadline approaching, and in that it becomes business, reverts back to business?
Yeah, it's a horrible time. It's I don't know what, this is a tough time, and then training camp's a tough time, because you always have to end up telling somebody that they need to do something else for a living, and that's difficult to do. And here, you're with players, and if changes are made, that's always a tough conversation. So I'm always happy when the training camp part is over and when the trade deadline comes, and then you can just get back to business, because everybody calls everybody. I mean, nobody talks about it, or you guys do, because you and gals, that's your job, to throw things against the wall, see what sticks. But everybody's calling everybody. So for us as coaches, it's best that we don't pay attention to anything. And if something happens, then you talk about it. But that's all going on, and that's the responsible thing to do. Everybody should be trying to see what they can do to make their teams better. But when the time passes, I'm more relaxed.